choices can get the better of us. Yes, in the world of luxury fashion, we often talk about the hottest trending pieces. Hell, I even tell you about half of them. And sometimes you can get that feeling of like, damn it, I really missed out there. And there can be a lot of unpurchased regret with the things that got away. What about the ones that we're actually quite happy slipped through our fingers, or we didn't jump on the bandwagon of? Those are the pieces I'm going to be talking about today. These are the popular luxury items that I'm glad I didn't buy this year. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Cassie, and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. I also have a Substack that will be linked below. Let's kick it off with one of the most successful bags of the year. This is the Chanel 25. What's interesting with this is that I've heard a lot of varying opinions on the style of the bag. Some people really like it, some people think it looks really cheap. Either way, Chanel is making an absolute killing with this bag. I've heard that it is extremely popular over back in the UK. And so after many months of this bag having been released, I took it upon myself to try one on. Okay, the opportunity arose and I was like, why not? Let me just sling one over my shoulder and see if I can get with this vibe. Here's the thing, I could have gotten with said vibe. I tried it on in the small size. That would be the perfect size for me. Anything bigger just is a bit too cumbersome for me personally, you know, TBE tiny bag energy. And I really liked it. I tried it on in like a lilac canvas, which again was interesting because I like fabric bags. I'm not too much of a fan of the leather versions of these bags, mainly because they haven't been done in like really incredible colours that tickle my fancy. But this lilac one, I was like, oh my gosh, are you foraging around? Are you pillaging my jewels? I tried it on and I liked it. I won't lie to you, it fell very nicely against the side of my body. I was like, I see why people like this. You have this middle compartment that can fit loads of your everyday, you know, sorts of bits and bobs. You have these two sort of side panels there that close everything in. You can use one of them as a pouch for your phone almost. Angelica, no. Angelica, no. Get out. Exactly. It wasn't all that fun, was it? It's casual, and I tend to gravitate towards a casual bag. However, I was about 85% of the way there in terms of how much it had sold itself to me. But for a number of reasons, I was like, I don't think this is the bag for me. Number one, I only liked it in a light coloured canvas. Now, if you've got something, a shoulder bag especially, a top handle, you know, you can sort of get away with having a light coloured bag because it's not rubbing against you. But with a shoulder bag, that is quite literally the point, is that it is here, it is rubbing against your ribs there, and they are making very close friends with each other. So a light lilac Cassie, when you dress in a lot of dark clothes, I don't like how this is going. And this is a bold thing to admit. This is really quite popular, and that in itself kind of put me off because I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to get it, then it has to be an interesting interpretation of this bag. It has to be really quite different. It can't just be the black one. Maybe it's the lilac one, whatever. But I was like, there's a 15% there that we've got to make up for. And why am I not feeling committed? So part of it was its popularity. And here's the thing, it's going to continue its reign. This is a bag style that we are going to be seeing more and more of. It's done very well for the brand this year. It's in the cruise collections. Let's see if Mathieu Blazy keeps it on. But probably, if it's making the money, they're probably going to keep it around. So there we go. That's why it was a good buy. The next one are the Chloe jelly sandals. Now, I run my mouth about a PVC shoe. Why? Because I've been burned many times. I have had the experience, the blisters, the injuries, and the wounds on my feet to prove the amount of times I have tried to trust a PVC shoe and it has stabbed me in the back. Now, whilst a jelly shoe is not quite a PVC shoe in the same way that I've bought PVC shoes in the past, it is a cousin. But for some reason, the jelly aspect of it, I think it's because it looks like a gelatin little gummy bear. I keep falling for them, and they've got an odd little place in my heart. Anyway, so Chloe have come out with the jelly shoes. There's a whole thing about jelly shoes in general on an adult. Is that okay? I can get past that personally. What I can't get past is the fact that not only did this sandal have an ankle strap. It has the world's most unnecessary heel. That heel isn't helping anybody for any reason. In what situation in life do you need to be half an inch off of the floor? And to be honest with you, it's not even like a sassy little tiny little stiletto heel. No, it's like a weird sort of I don't know what that is, but it's this shape. On top of that, the toe is weird. I could have got past the weird toe because Loewe does a weird toe, and I could move past that. But all together, it was just giving, it was almost as though there were aspects of 3 shoes that had gone into making this one, and it didn't make sense to me. However, listen, this did really well, especially the brown sold out. There was a blue, there was a pink. I think that was it. Chloe is now doing round 2. They're doing jelly shoes for next year. And those I can get on the back of. Those I'm like, these are like cute little Polly Pocket, little clip clop around Disney princess shoes. And for you, I see a purpose. First of all, you're a heel height that makes sense. This one, I don't know how we got there. I'm glad that I didn't get involved in whatever that was. Chloe is a very cool brand. I think their ready to wear especially is great. I think the shoes, you know, it's taken a little bit of time for us to get a bit of a winner there. While we're on the topic, those clunky wedges that I know are like a signature of the house, egregiously so. That is a huge wedge, and I have a pair of allure wedge heels. I like a chunky wedge sometimes. That is too much. That literally looks like I have taken it upon myself to go into the forest, to hack down a tree with my bare hands, and I have used the tree trunk, is that what it's called? Yes, it is. I have used the trunk of that tree to fashion a pair of wedges. That's what it looks like. And I know that's sort of the vibe because they're etched in there like with little things, but it's too, no. I think I would have maybe liked it if the crisscross on the front was like in smaller straps, because it's almost like, oh, look at these delicate little straps and this ridiculous chunky heel. But it's too much altogether in my opinion. Whilst I'm heated, the next thing I'm so glad I didn't buy, there's layers to this. We could put it on under the umbrella of Miu Miu ready to wear, but first of all I would like to pick the holes in a really popular item that it is unfathomable to me as to why this did this well, but it is a Miu Miu fleece. Now, I have a personal beef with fleeces in general. I do not like the texture of a fleece. I do not like the way a fleece looks. I don't even like the name of it, to be honest with you. And again, maybe this is because I was brought up in the countryside. A fleece is not cool and chic, and you can give it the gorp core and its utilitarian and all of that. Okay, well, guess what? Adding a little Miu Miu logo on the left titty doesn't help the situation. If you're going to give me a high fashion fleece, give me a high fashion fleece. Give me a fleece that doesn't make me think of going to, this is a UK reference, going to Decathlon for my DV equipment. Okay, so there's that. On top of that, very recently, I saw a video of a girl who had fallen for the fleece. Good for her, each to their own. Guess what? The sodding toggle on the wrist broke. How? How is a fasten, a small finish to this piece, falling off? It de-threaded itself from the wrist and she found it on the floor. Unacceptable. On top of that, they've been like, I know Wisdom K also posted some issues with buttons falling off and zips breaking. These are small finishing touches. This is, what? Anyway, who's doing your quality control? Because somebody needs to be there doing this to zips to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'm glad I didn't buy that fleece because guess what? I don't like a sodding fleece and I don't like that one either. And then on top of that, we know that the Miu Miu polo shirts and striped long sleeve tops have been doing well. Again, you're going to have to really give it to me in a really different, interesting, creative way for me to just not just buy a Ralph Lauren polo shirt if I wanted to buy a polo shirt, okay? I bought a couple of polo shirts from Mizoni and Pucci. Why? The fabric was different and interesting. The Mizoni one is wibbly wobbly. The Pucci one looks like it's terry cloth, okay? You're giving me something more. You're justifying your price a little bit, okay? What is that? From Miu Miu. It's just a polo shirt and you want a grand? Absolutely not. Anyway, I clearly feel very strongly about that, mainly because I don't get the Miu Miu vibe. Good for the Miu Miu girls, okay? I'm happy for you. Things are going well. and all of that. I personally, I don't think it's a surprise to hear I'm not a Miu Miu girl. Moving on, the Coach kisslock bag. My mum bought this bag. I know that this bag has been very popular, and rightfully so. It's very cool, it's fun, it's huge, it's oversized, you tuck it under your arm, it looks like a massive coin purse, it's excellent quality. Coach, as we know, is killing it. Good for them. They also do a bedazzled version now in the Coach logo. Kind of wish it didn't have the Coach logo all over it, and maybe they just sort of, they could have bedazzled it in the logo without the logo canvas behind and a plain canvas behind, but then like in certain lights you can see the crystals make the logo. Anyway, I was this close also because the price is great. It's a really great, it's an inviting price, I'll tell you that, in the world of luxury fashion, right? It's not technically a luxury, whatever. Okay, semantics. We're talking about it in a luxury fashion conversation. I almost fell for it. I'm glad I didn't. Why? Because I have a similar bag. My Fendi First would fall within this category. And I even think that my Fendi First, the size that it is, can feel a bit cumbersome and heavy. Because it's really quite roomy, and therefore you want to fill it. You don't just want 3 things ricocheting into the corners. But then when you start to look at the kisslock and think of it, you're like, that is absolutely ginormous. This is going to be so heavy hanging off my shoulder. If I want to clutch it, it's a commitment to clutch. If this is an everyday thing, that's a commitment to hold that like that all day, or sling it over the shoulder. Which, you know, not so much, but it doesn't quite have the same vibe over the shoulder. Anyway, or you're like committing to it for an evening look and it's a massive clutch. So, I love the bag. I still sit here and I go, that's a great bag, I'm so happy for you. I just know that it would annoy me personally. Jacques-Marie Marche sunglasses. These have really blown up in the last year as people have gotten to know more and more about, you know, what are being referred to as the Birkins of the sunglasses world. Why? Let me give you a little bit of context. Jacques-Marie Marche sunglasses it's an LA-based brand made in Japan, very high quality, you know, artisanal sunglasses. The quality is there and they really give it to you in that like really true, it's a true luxury experience. It comes in a glorious red box and there's, you know, different compartments, and crucially these are treated like pieces of art in that they are numbered. So you will have this style and you will have number 20 of 200 pairs made, and so on and so forth. Not only does this sort of add to the allure and exclusivity feeling of the brand, but it also means that kind of like for resale purposes that's quite good because you have a numbered and whatever, and some people might actually be on the hunt for a very specific number. Anyway, these sunglasses are going to, I think they start at maybe about $800. The most commonly sort of price is around that $1,000 mark. If I'm paying $1,000 for a pair of sunglasses, I'm going to go to $1,000 plus for a pair of sunglasses. I'm going to go to Anna Karen Carlson. Why? There's a bit more of a song and a dance. Jacques-Marie Marche sunglasses, whilst beautiful, are very sort of classic looking, a very sort of like typical wayfarer or, you know, aviator style. It's very classic. They do have some on the more fun side, but nothing to the same extent as like, I don't know, a panther sitting on the rim of your sunglasses. And that's what Anna Karen Carlson is giving. So I'm going to go there. If I'm going to spend that money, you know, do you want to know what? There was a pair of chrome heart sunglasses that I haven't stopped thinking about since the time I tried them on. Why those over the JMM? Why? Because they've got all those like cutouts and the crosses and everything around the side. It's just not my personal style. And if I'm going to spend that sort of money, there are other brands catering more towards what I would like. The new Celine luggage bag under Michael Ryder. I was there. I was almost there. Okay, if somebody had just given me a little shove in the right direction, I would have bought one. I obviously have my... She's down here and she's heavy. Okay, I have my old Phantom from 2011, and so I feel like a little bit of the itch has been tickled. However, we've got this new version, and she does have extra elements that do make her a little bit more user-friendly. So you have a zip across the top, whereas the old version is just a gaping hole. You also have a flap that can cover it again, so that even if you didn't want to zip it all the way, you could cover it with the flap, or you can zip and flap it. There are lots of different closure options that this bag simply does not have. I also managed to try this bag on in person very secretively in the UK. I wasn't allowed to take any videos or pictures or whatever. It doesn't have the same level of gravitas. As in, it's a beautiful bag. It's got the smile, all of that. It's very hot and rightfully so, and it's going to do well without me running my mouth about it. However, I do think that for some reason it feels a hell of a lot smaller than this bag. This bag is massive, rightfully or wrongfully. You know, you might be looking for that, you might not be looking for that, in which case go for the new one. Also doesn't have the closure. But there is something about the old version and that very square box shape of it that the other one doesn't quite execute as well. The new one is more rectangular base and it's a lot more, it feels, both bags feel slouchy, but the other one seems to be made of a softer or thinner leather that sort of like doesn't hold its shape. It lends itself more to like it sort of barrels out. Whereas the old one still has that boxy square shape. It does still sag and its wings are going and whatnot. And it just feels a little bit more dramatic in my opinion. There we go, I already had one. I didn't need another one. The Loewe flip-flops. I know, you're not expecting me to buy them anyway. I know, but I thought this was a great opportunity to talk about them yet again. So the Loewe launched a pair of flip-flops this summer. I believe that they were $675, something around that. And they were just nondescript flip-flops. There was nothing about them that made them feel special. There was nothing about them that was, you know, cut in an interesting shape. Maybe the quality was great. To be honest with you, for something that looks like that, I actually don't care. I will just buy the run-of-the-mill version of that. And if it breaks, it breaks, but I don't need... I'm also not a Loewe appreciator. So I've got that against me as well. These sold out. These are actively sold out. And again, there's no added design element here that I feel like justifies really anything. So for example, Allure is coming out with a pair of flip-flops next year that are, at least the design is interesting. They've got like a strange shaped sort of base and then a contrasting fabric that, you know, does the thong aspect. These were just... It was just a load of bollocks, to be honest with you. This was something that I really went back and forth deciding whether or not to swipe the card, because these were the Loewe 10th anniversary puzzle bags. I do not have a puzzle bag. That actually doesn't seem quite right. I feel as though I should have one. I have not found the one. All of a sudden, it's the 10th anniversary of the puzzle bag. They bring out all of these incredible designs. They're limited edition. Ding, ding, ding. Cassie likes limited edition. Okay? Cassie has sold something faster as soon as somebody says the words limited edition. Only X amount in the country. Sue me, it works on me. Alright? Anyway, they come out with all of these designs. There are two specifically that I was very much drawn to. Number one, the Western one. Had all this like little yoke detail cowboy, sorry, I think it was called the cowboy version. It was a men's design a few years ago, can't remember when. Anyway, blue and white. Blue, ho ho ho, that's my colour, okay? Then guess what? There was a green suede with sodding cards all over it giving Vegas. I love Vegas. Can I play any card games? No. Possibly just go fish. Actually, I learned how to play blackjack the other day. I don't know any strategies, I just know that you can't go over 21. But anyway, loved the design of it. I like green. Green is also one of my colours. It goes blue, then it goes green. Anyway, I was like, oh, either of those, either of those. I also did like the varsity one, but then there was an L on it, and I was like, that would have been cooler if my name began, or like my last name was L, you know, whatever. Fine. Even just those two should have gotten me there. However, they were made in the regular size. And sometimes being an ambassador of TBE, Tiny Bag Energy, really rules you out of some purchases, because I would not have used that bag anywhere near as much if I bought it in this size compared to if it was done in the smaller size. If it was done in the smaller size, take it. Take my card, run it, swipe it, yes please, all of that business. But the bigger size, I was just like, this just doesn't feel like me. It doesn't. And, oh, you know, what a shame. I've missed out on something that, again, like, the limited editionness gets me. It gives me a little tingle there in the tummy. A good tingle, not one that, you know, implies you maybe need to get things checked. Anyway, it's so unique, it's so cool. If I was going to get a Loewe puzzle bag, those would have been the ones. But again, it just didn't feel right. Sometimes being Goldilocks pays. You know, it's to this, it's to that. Fine, I'm going to go for the perfect one. Did she get eaten at the end of that story? Possibly. I'm not just going to settle because it's not right. If I'm meant to have a puzzle bag, the right one will come along. If I'm not, I'm not. Guess what? There are loads of other sodding bag styles camping out on my wish list for me to go through. Anyway, please share with me the popular luxury items from 2025 that you decided not to go through with and you're happy with that decision. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.